call to order the meeting of March 21st, 2024 of the Hingham Historical Districts Commission to order at 6:30 p.m. still. All right, so this meeting is being held remotely as an alternative means of public access pursuant to Chapter 2 of the Acts of 2023 and all other applicable laws temporarily amending certain provisions of the open meeting law. You are hereby advised that this meeting and all communications during this meeting may be recorded by the town of Hingham in accordance with the open meeting law. If any participant wishes to record this meeting, please notify the chair at the start of the meeting in accordance with MGL Chapter 38, subparagraph 20F, so the chair may inform all other participants of said recording. And yeah, can you mute? Thank you. So this meeting is being recorded, as you just heard. All right, we have a very busy agenda tonight. So let me go through, and I don't think we have Josh yet.
No, we don't.
Okay, so first agenda item is 151 Levitt Street, a continuance. And so for that, the appointed members on that item are Catherine Daly, Eric Savinsky, Justin Aborn, and myself. And Carol's here this time. So Carol is also, so we have 5 voting members for that.
Thank you.
So that's 151 Levitt Street. 55 North Street is a continuance, and the voting members last time were Carol Piles, Eric Savinsky, Justin Aborn, myself, and Josh Blevins. And Josh is not here, so that item will have 4 voting members tonight. Our remaining agenda items will be 302 North Street, 988 Main Street, 237, 239 South Street, 183 Main Street, and 1020 Main Street. The voting members will be the same for all of those agenda items, which will be myself, Catherine Daly, Eric Sminsky, Justin Aborn, and Carol Piles.
And just a note, Mr. Chairman, the agenda I received in my package doesn't have 183 Main Street listed on the agenda.
I will tell you, that's unfortunate because that's my fault. I think what we did was the chair and I had a conversation and decided to add that one. And so I'm sorry, but that should be there. So
I just wanted to bring it up.
yeah, you got the wrong one.
Record. Okay.
Sorry.
I didn't get it either. Did anybody get it?
The agenda item that is posted is correct.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
it's on our meeting tonight, and we will talk about that agenda item. So
Okay.
Yeah, and you got it in your packet. So, hey, Josh.
okay, so
Josh
okay,
has arrived.
Josh, in the nick of time, before we started the item, if Mr. Patch, if you're not opposed, I'd like to appoint Josh, so we have 5 voting members now that he's here, if you're not opposed.
Sure, that's okay.
So clarification for the record, 151 Levitt Street, the voting members will be Catherine Daly, Eric Savinsky, Justin Aborn, anybody from the public that doesn't have a packet.
Yeah.
Andrew,
Yeah.
can you let me share screen?
Oh, sure. Sorry.
Mr. Patch, I have cover page and then the options, and then I also have the lighting specs. Was there
Yep.
anything else?
Not right now. No.
Okay, perfect.
So if I just want to make try to keep this short and sweet. We understand you got a busy agenda tonight. 20 minutes is a lot. I just want to make a few salient points that to clarify from the last meeting is that that provides a context for this situation is first the property is non-contributory to the district. The materials that the wall is made out of are the fieldstone and the bluestone. Is exactly the same material that the commission approved for the house chimney and steps. So I know last time we were there, excuse me, one of the commission members had talked about, maintaining a consistency between the materials in the house and the materials in the wall. So I just want to alert the commission that the materials are consistent. In terms of the lights, I just want to make sure for point of clarification, the existing lights are not in the wall itself, they're in the piers. But all the lights other than the two lights put it this way, all lights that are facing Levitt Street are gonna be disconnected, unscrewed, so that those are gone. And then the only lights that would be left are the two lights as you enter into the driveway piers that are not actually facing the Levitt Street, but they're actually downward sloped, illuminating that entrance point. I also wanted to point out that the nearest street light, we measured it off. So if you're standing looking at the property, to your left, if you look up, you can see that telephone pole right there to the left. That does not have a street light. The next pole up, which is basically 100 feet from there, has a street light. It pretty much is at the entrance to the next house up, driveway house up, which you can see a little bit of that house to the left there. It's the lighting plant uses these big LED lamps to illuminate. But again, and then on the next side to the right, if you're heading down towards Pope's Lane, the 160 feet away is the next street light. So this area is a darkened area. And so, what we're suggesting is that, having lighting to illuminate the entranceway where their driveway appears also serves a safety issue. As I also would like to note, the house down to the right on the intersection of Levitt Street and Pope's Lane, that house and the house to the left each have, notwithstanding the fact that there's an LED light on the light pole there, each one of them actually has an outdoor standalone light that essentially illuminates their driveway. So this is something that's common in the adjoining properties. So basically what we've done, and with that said, basically what we did is we looked at this, we talked to several people, tried to come up with some options. And so what you have is, if Mr. Chairman, if you could pull up option, I think it's option 1, which is the existing conditions. That's the picture that shows the car. I think yeah, there you go. So we have existing conditions. Essentially, that's what that's what you have. What we did was we listened to the concern about the return, which from the street piers back to the driveway piers, and there's a rise from on the reveal essentially where the returns start at the street piers and then go back to the driveway piers, and basically a little under approximately about a foot is the increase in the rise. So a little less on one, maybe an inch on the more on the other. So the thought was, and listening to again what the commission members had suggested last time, which we can alter the topography to try to address that issue. So what we did was we said, okay, what we'll do is put in some jumbo cobblestones, cement them in. So basically what will happen is that, and then infill it for purposes of with soil and for plantings. And so that what you essentially have is, if you looked at the wall from the reveal of the wall from the street pillar to all the way to the driveway pillar will pretty much remain the same. So it doesn't have this rise, when you look at it, it doesn't have effectively the rise that you see right now, because that the cobblestone will help that. Will essentially lessen the mass of the wall. So that was option 2, okay? And then option 3, and again, we're open to any combination of these. Option 3 is to basically planting essentially some deciduous or either deciduous overstory trees behind the wall to provide a background to lessen the presence of the wall and the pillars. In this situation, we also have what we're showing is eastern red cedars, because that's a year-round tree. So, the impact would be year-round, as opposed to if you have deciduous overstory trees, it would obviously be not as impactful to address that issue. And then in front would be to plant drought-resistant landscaping. The proposal was hydrangea. This is option 3. Well, option 2 and option 3, actually, if we can get to option 3 as well. We can go to option 3. Yes, there you go. There are the trees. So basically, what we have is hydrangea, Carl Forster, grasses, this type of thing, drought resistant. So again, addressing some of the concerns about the massing of the wall itself. And then getting to the last option, which is option 4, what we did is we added some pier mounted lights. And we're not particularly, we provided a spec for a light. We're not particularly wedded to that particular light, but essentially we tried to look for something that was effectively lantern appropriate, I guess, is the best way to describe it. All in all, we with the policies spoken to in the commission's documentation about trying to address dark skies issues and so forth and so on, we really were trying to keep the lighting to a minimum, as opposed to having this essentially incandescent light up on top of the piers, although that is a feature that is in the district and is a feature that's in other parts of the districts on piers and also outside of any district. So it exists. So, we're proposing something like that again. And then the other thing that we thought about that we didn't think about in time to get it into you guys is that in terms of the bluestone itself, the caps, even though, like I said, the bluestone is consistent with the approved stone that's used actually in the exterior of the house that you can see from Levitt Street, was approved by the commission. And notwithstanding, if you go further on down Levitt Street, basically at 125, the front steps are made out of, has a bluestone cap. 111 Street has, very visible from Levitt Street, essentially off to the side of the yard. They have what appears to be an outdoor fireplace made of similar fieldstone using this blue capped sandstone, bluestone caps. So these materials exist not just within the property itself, but also, on in adjacent properties. And then, essentially what we're trying to provide all these little options here to try to address the concerns. one of the last thing that we're thinking about is we could wrap the bluestone caps in copper, like a copper sheathing, so that basically if there's some objection to the, the color of the bluestone, essentially what you end up doing is having copper, and the copper would weather away weather quite rapidly, so that essentially it would just blend in essentially to the look of the wall. So that's where we're at, and so we're just hoping the commission can work with us and we can get something accomplished.
Great. Thank you, Mr. Patch. Before I ask a few questions and turn it over to the commission, I just want to see if there is anybody from the public that wishes to provide comment. Okay. So one of the questions I have is I really appreciate the options. It's great. You guys put thought into this. You've definitely heard the comments from the commission. The one thing I try to avoid in my time chairing this commission is this kind of, we're designing things, right? It should be, what does the applicant want? Present that to us, right? So I guess I'd like to start as a starting point. Is there option 2, 3, or 4 as I grow through that is a preferred option for your client?
Or without the lights, without the light, without the
lights, yeah.
No, big trees.
yeah. So it'd be 4 without the pillar lights, essentially.
Okay,
That's
so that's not
what you see is option 3, right?
Okay. I'd prefer to start with your starting point. It's your application, and for us to then give feedback off of that. So to me, my feedback on this is actually helpful, because the difference between option 2 and 3 in my mind is they're really the same application, because we don't take into consideration plantings as part of our purview. So if I'm not mistaken, I just wanted to double check, the wall dimension changes and everything else being proposed between 2 and 3 are really the same.
Yes.
Yes. Well, again, and just so you know, Mr. Chairman, the people that we spoke to about the massing issue and so forth, they said one of the ways you try to deal with massing is in structures is through landscaping.
I know. I totally get it. It's just that's totally.
No, I'm just saying.
I appreciate it. But we've got to take it on for what our purview is and what we're supposed to consideration. So with that, option 2 to 3 is really the same in from our board's perspective, which is good because now it limits it. What the Farrells want to do with plantings are totally up to them. If they want to cover it in ivy, if they want to leave it bare, that is outside of our jurisdiction. So if they love this planting option, great. It works for us, because we don't have a say in planting. So with that, I want to focus our commission's feedback on option. I'm going to just pull this one up because this is, in my mind, a good view of what's happening. The wall back here has been shrunk, really kind of gives that feel that this is shorter, this is set back. We're left with only lighting on these 2 faces. And so the addition would be this corbel along this length, so that they can get a bed out of it. Is that right?
Yes.
Yes. Yep.
Okay, great. So with that, I'll just go through the order. Eric, do you wish to provide any comments or feedback?
Who did you call?
Eric.
Sure. So we discussed the sort of build up in front. I think it does help to mitigate the scale, but I think I think that was probably the least exciting or fulfilling option that we talked about last month. I understand it's probably the least intrusive, because there's no actual impact to the wall in any of the cases. So I certainly understand why this is a preferred option. I feel comfortable with the light as it's proposed. So like the lighting in the back columns, I think it is nice to have some light as far as cars coming in and out. So that I think in my opinion. Only those two lights, you eliminate all the lights in the street, which we appreciate. I think that light is appropriate. My preference is I don't like option 4, adding those additional lights. I think it adds to the scale. And it's kind of going against maybe what we were initially targeting. So I actually prefer the minimal lights that are just providing a glow down low. And similarly, I'd rather leave the bluestone than add the copper topper. I think, again, it's kind of going in the opposite direction of the character of the street instead of just the stone walls. It's dressing it up more than maybe perhaps it's suitable for this neighborhood on the streetscape. So I guess in summation, I do think the cobblestones does help to mitigate the scale to a degree. And, you know, in resolution, it's an unfortunate circumstance where the wall's up and now we're having this conversation. So I certainly don't want to push in a direction that's asking a lot. But in all honesty, I'm probably a little disappointed that there's not any sort of modification to any of the wall as a result of the comments we provided before. But I think I probably could be comfortable with this approach. I think it does mitigate it. And I do appreciate you working with us the last few months and trying to get here. So, you know, I think I can come to a resolution on this, but I'd like to hear what everyone else has to say.
Mr. Farrell, can I just, or Mr. Patch, you are reducing the height of this part right here, going back to the pillar, because right now it goes higher as you go up, but this rendering, it looks like it's flat. Is that correct or no?
Well, actually, the wall's not going to change. What you
Okay,
have.
that's what I wanted to clarify, because
Yeah,
that
what's going
rendering
to change?
doesn't.
Right,
Okay.
right. What's going to change is that because of the cobblestone, what's going to do is that's going to allow for the area to be built up so that when you the actual reveal, if you were to go out and take a tape measure, the actual reveal from the top of the wall, top of the return to where you hit the ground is going to be consistent from the street pillar all the way to the driveway pillar.
Okay, thank you for clarifying. This rendering here just made it look like this was.
Yeah.
Put a level on it, it would be level, but okay, thank you for the clarification.
Yep.
Justin, I see you next. Do you have any feedback?
Yes, I agree with the comments about how vegetation we can't really factor into the decision. I am probably have the most trouble with the bluestone caps on the pillars that remain. I was hoping for an option that might have removed those bluestone caps, and that's my strongest challenge to supporting a way forward with this. But I'll rewind and say I do concur that the lighting at the entranceway pointing down onto the sidewalk, that seems a reasonable lighting to include. Well, it would be great if they could look like candles, but I think it's as they are now, they seem modest. But if there was an option that could simplify those piers, the columns, that would be a lot easier to support.
Anything else, Justin?
That's it.
All right. Catherine, I see you next.
I certainly appreciate Mr. Farrell working with us. I would say I have some concerns of adding the cobblestones, because if you're trying to make up about a foot in elevation, that means the cobblestones at the entrance gate, they're going to be a foot high, and that's a really big cobble. And you're adding mass to this structure that we're trying to simplify and reduce and reduce in stature and presence and formality. And so I think that's adding to the problem. I just wanted to clarify that the bluestone caps we don't have a problem with bluestone, the material itself. The problem is that the addition of these caps creates a more formal appearance of the wall. I think that's the issue. So even the bluestone is a material that we frequently approve. So
Yes, thank you, Catherine.
yeah, so I agree with Eric and Justin that the adding of copper is, adding to the formality, adding to the ornateness of this, which we're trying to reduce and simplify. So I would have really liked to have seen a rendering without the caps to see how that impacted everything. The lighting, I can get behind the interior lighting on the piers, but I feel like we're not quite being met on the compromising somewhere on the wall.
Thank you, Catherine. Carol?
Yeah, at our last meeting, I wrote down a couple of things that I think, Dan, you had summarized what was kind of where we were all going with this. And I wrote down that the wall would be the same height all around. In other words, no columns at all. That's one of the things that hits you as being a more formal planned wall instead of a countryway pile of rocks. I had put down no lights, but maybe I was the only one that said that. I think you're headed in the right direction on that, but I certainly wouldn't put lanterns, which are really going to emphasize that column. I'd take the columns down. Plants don't count, as Dan already said, and the capstones to me look very formal for a little countryway. So I think we want this informal. It is a sort of a rural area. There are a lot of things that look just like this as you drive around town, but they, for the most part, are new and lead into a housing development with 20 houses or something in the back. I'd like to see this really simplified, all the columns down, no lighting if possible, but I could compromise with the two going right into the driveway. And the plants don't count because they die and the next people who live there aren't going to plant them there. And, we have to be able to see this without plantings around it and see what it's really going to look like. That's
One point of clarification there, Carol, is since it was my summary, we didn't summarize saying that the wall should be a uniform height across. Our summary was to look at, we were interested in modifying the wall to minimize it through cap removal potentially, and the geometry of the wall as it returns back into the driveway. So just for the record, that was the summary that I gave. I do know that opinion about making it uniform across was discussed, but that wasn't really a overarching summary that I felt that was needed from the commission as a whole. So with that, if we have such a busy agenda tonight, if there's an alternate that really wishes to speak or add something different, please just raise your hand and I'll call on you. But otherwise, to try to keep us somewhat on time, I'd really like to pass on that tonight, if that's okay. So Marianne, if you have something, please raise your hand. I'll see you. Josh, same thing for this item. I want to try to make sure we're not here till 10:30 tonight. So with that, yes, I just gave my summary. So I understand both sides of it. I see the buildup. It's kind of a modification or a spin on the berm kind of discussion. It's basically a kind of a berm, but over, with some sort of boundary condition given to it, more definition. So personally, I think it kind of does work because it sets back and minimizes, draws your eyes to somewhere else. So I'm not completely opposed to it. I think the lighting part of it's been pretty well simplified. We've discussed that. I do share the sentiment that, not seeing a little bit more modification of the wall. I was hoping maybe to see something with the wall heights or something with the pillar height or the blue, just something to make it a little less like this is the grand entrance. Just because I felt like it doesn't quite fit the narrative a little bit of the historic district. So those are my feedback. So with that, Mr. Patch, I'm sure you
Mr.
can
Chair.
comment back to us, so happy to have a conversation here.
Yeah, so I just conferred with the Farrells, they're willing to take the caps off.
Okay.
So if that goes,
If that puts us to bed tonight, I'll just take off the caps, guys.
Yeah, I mean, I can't do a straw poll here and do that, but I do have the sentiment. I think there was definitely more support without the bluestone. But I can't do a straw poll. We certainly, you heard the 5 voting members' feedback and thoughts on this. If we want, we could put it to a motion and see where that proposal of option 2 less the bluestone caps takes us. Or if you want to digest this, and we could do a continuance.
no, we can go forward with the motion to take the caps off, that we're just trying to move.
Yeah,
forward.
so I guess so I mean, that's, so what's being proposed now is option 2 less the bluestone caps on the pillars, so.
And Mr. Chair, that includes the street piers all the way down too, because you don't see those.
Yeah, right, yeah.
Just for the record.
6 caps.
Right.
So with that, I mean, I don't know if there's anybody from the public or anybody from the commission that wants to weigh in with those modifications. If not, I'm happy to take a motion. If any of the commission members wish to provide.
So it's, just for clarification, it's removing the caps, but keeping the cobbles?
It's
Yes.
this plan that's on the screen, less the
Minus-
bluestone for all of the piers.
And they'd still have the columns.
The columns would still be there, but there would be just, the bluestone would be removed.
And can we characterize in the motion the height that the applicant would be contemplating?
The height of the
The
columns
pillars.
are existing.
Right.
Yes, so there's.
So Justin, just so you know, the street pillars are basically essentially roughly 45 inches high, because it's the rounded stone, right? So and then the cap is like a uniform 3 inches, and then on the driveway piers essentially is around, again, because of it's around 56, 57 ish in height, and again with the 3-inch cap, the bluestone is a 3-inch width cap. So
And just a reminder for the commission, we do have a submitted as-built drawing of the wall.
Okay.
Dimensions and everything, so that was in the very first application and first submission with the packet, but that is documented what the existing conditions are. Any other comments, public or commission?
Oh, Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
I know that there were a number of,
Oh, yes, sorry, thank you for reminding me of that.
Go ahead.
So, separately, just for the record, we were provided with 3 emails that were sent into our administrator, Andrea, in support of the wall, 3 residents. So we did receive those, they were noted, and I believe Mr. Patch also submitted, for the record, a list of nearby abutters and neighbors within the district, and also I believe a few outside the district in support of the wall as constructed. So we did just want to put that was received and reviewed and is part of the record.
Thank you.
Anybody else? Okay. Any voting commission member wish to make a motion?
I'll make a motion on it, I think.
Thank you, Eric.
It's a difficult process here, and again, I just want to communicate that I appreciate you working with us, and I think this last gesture of modifying the columns too is a nice compromise in my mind. I certainly want us all to move on. So But that being said, this, I feel like this is gonna be a tricky one. I don't have your original application, so please, Dan, if there's anything you need to add to this, let me know. I move that we issue a certificate of appropriateness to 151 Levitt Street. The package received for the 3/21/2024 review, which includes a number of additional emailed imagery of options, which include the removal of the light fixtures along the street on the columns, but leaving the two on the recessed columns in place, which includes removing in the option 2 the caps to the columns at all column locations on the street and the returns, with the addition of a cobblestone berm built up in front of the wall to help mitigate the scale of the wall. And is there any specific drawings I should be including, Dan, in the motion?
I think just referencing the what was submitted in our package for today's date, option 2 that you said. I think that'll cover it.
Okay.
So, motion made. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Mr. Aborn has seconded the motion. Is there any discussion from any commission members or anyone from the public? Hearing none. Move to a roll call vote. Eric, how do you vote?
Aye.
Justin, how do you vote?
Aye.
Carol, how do you vote?
No, I still think it's inappropriate for that street. I'm sorry.
Catherine, how do you vote?
It's a no for me because of the cobbles. I think it needs to be a different material.
And it's a yes for me, so the motion passes 3-2.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Good night.
Well set?
Yep. Thank you, Mr.
Thanks.
Pat. Thank
Thanks,
you.
guys.
So actually, Andrea, this is a little different, so I assume Mr. Patch, Mr. Farrell, just reach out to Andrea and figure out the steps forward. We'll obviously issue the certificate of appropriateness, but
Yes,
we will figure out what the right course is for once the work's been completed, just to verify.
Great, great.
okay, great.
Thank
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, so our next agenda item is 55 North Street, which is a continuance for a hardscape plan. Voting members, as a reminder, is Carol, Eric, myself, Josh, and Justin. So with that, are the Ramseys and Ms. Goslin are here. So do you need to share, or am I sharing, or are we just having a conversation?
If you can share, that's great. If we need to, perfect. So thank you all for coming to the site. It was nice to be able to show everybody the grade change and what was going on. So we did discuss that the brush has been cleared on the westerly side of their adjacent neighbor. So we are going to take and put the hedge up around the corner and slightly shorten the length of the driveway. But I don't know if anybody has any comments they want to start.
No, let me just pull the plan up. I do know that we received option 2 fencing, and we have your old plan. Andrew, is there anything else I should have?
No, that's it.
Okay, just making sure. So. There we go. So here it is. All right, so this is the plan that was submitted last time. We did a site visit out there, like you said. And then I do know that from our last meeting, let me get my notes here. We said we continue the application to consider the feedback about other options for hardscape. I think particularly there was questions about dimensionality of the driveway, potentially material selection. I think that probably summarizes most of the feedback. So I do know that one item that you sent us, I don't know if you want to talk to this, was potentially fencing options.
So we've talked about the different options of doing, a 4-foot fence possibly. But when we walked down the street a little further, there was a privet hedge and also a fence side by side. So we were talking about how we could get the best effect to completely block the cars. So they both have SUVs. So we were thinking if we stayed with the privet hedge, it would block the car from basically the tires to the roof, because it would probably let that hedge get about 4 to 6 feet high, if not on the 6-foot end. So we just felt like it gave a better block than the fencing might do. But option 2, is there. So the fencing would go along that southern edge, along that existing brick walkway out to North Street, and would make the turn and go, slightly up the westerly side, as well as the hedge would do the same thing. Yep, exactly. Thank you. That would also be bermed about like 12 to 16 inches. So that would give also a little bit of screening from the sidewalk and the road.
Just for clarification, it's option 1 is the hedge, option 2 is the fence. There's not an option with both. Is that just to be clear?
I think it might be too narrow as far as the dimensions, because the hedge would get too grown into the fence. It would be a little tough for the maintenance to keep it white. So we're thinking that we had to choose one or the other.
Okay. Any other modifications or revisions worth talking about?
So for the hardscape, they'd like to stay with asphalt, just because easier for plowing and shoveling and all that. There is an option that we could do like a, they call it like tarmac. It's basically you take the asphalt and you take a small rounded stone and they compact it on top while the tar is still hot. So it rolls into the asphalt. It gives a softer look with the stone. So that is an option of maybe softening the asphalt.
Okay. But no photo examples or anything that that you have to share for that?
No, they did it down at the Benjamin Lincoln House just recently, but I don't have a photo.
That's a similar look. Okay.
Yeah. So my concern is I would want to stick with just the asphalt, only because over time those little pebbles will come up a little bit, and where they're on North Street and there's that brick sidewalk, I just would hate to see the pebbles start to roll out onto the brick walk. So that's why, would be the reason why not to do it, just to keep that brick kind of clean and yeah, right there. Yeah, perfect. So yeah, so that would the option for that as well.
Great. Justin, you're in front of me. You're upper left again. So I don't know if it's alphabetical.
I'll jump in then and say that in my view, the fence solution is more appropriate for the neighborhood than the privet hedge, because of I think the fence option has less of it separates the property less from the street. There's less of a fortress sort of feel. I'm grateful for the applicants contemplating, whether the extent to which cars are obscured from view. But I think the fence option that we see here, in my view, would successfully hide the cars to a reasonable extent, and I think the fence is preferable to the privet.
Thanks, Justin. Anything else?
That's it.
Okay. Eric?
Yeah, I think I'm leaning towards the fence as well, only because we were walking, the property just adjacent with the hedge, and it kind of just closes you off to the buildings behind. And extending that feeling further feels a little unfortunate. So I'm probably leaning towards the fence. I guess for the record, I feel like going on the site really does communicate, I want to say, a little bit of the danger of the driveway, how steep it is, and certainly in the winter, if it's icy, someone coming down and that road's gotten busier and busier, sliding out, or someone walking. So I feel like that communicated well, and I feel like there is an importance here to mitigate that risk, but also being sensitive. And the paving, the full asphalt option feels a little disappointing to me. Like, I certainly understand the ease of maintenance, but being on one of the main thoroughfares downtown, I feel like doing a threshold of some other stone to help pull the, whatever material it is away from the sidewalk a little bit to mitigate the concerns of running onto the sidewalk. I think there might be an option there, or the alternative you referenced. I'm not sure the Benjamin Lincoln is a full tarmac. I know they have some like asphalt mixed in with the keystone at the bottom. So I think we'd have to just be clear on what that would be if we do a different direction. So visually, what would we be approving? That's probably my main comments. I guess one last comment. I think also to sympathize with, there's parking on the road all around. There are cars parked all around. There's some commercial space like right across the street. So, this isn't just a quiet neighborhood. So having cars down, although we prefer it, in this case, like, there is some understanding of that sort of environment.
Just to clarify your comment, you're right. The Benjamin Lincoln House, the very apron is what's tarmac, and then they transition from tarmac to just loose. But I think there's potential. I mean, that's kind of up to them if they tarmac. It's the same look aesthetically, just slightly different construction.
I think that was, I asked about that driveway because I really, really liked it, and I hope we see more of it. But it's stone dust and stone chips. Granite stone dust and granite stone chips. It's not pea stone. So that stays in place at the Benjamin Lincoln House really well, because they did an edging of tar right in front of the road and right in front of the street. And so that held all that stuff in place.
Catherine, just while you're on, if you have any other comments you want to provide.
Yes. So I think I'm in agreement with Justin about the fence over the privet. It feels a little more neighborly, a little bit more open, and a little bit more friendly. I do have concerns that this driveway is still a backing out driveway if they're parked side by side, turning in. I don't know how it's going to be like a 50-point turn to get out of there nose first. And so I wonder if just there would be more green space if they were parked side by side where the existing driveway is, to create just a side by side where they're both backing out together. I don't know if that's even possible. I think that would be the safest option if it were my driveway. But I see the limitations of the situation. So I appreciate, the creativity that's gone into this challenging streetscape.
Thank you. Josh?
I'll echo what was said previously. I also think I prefer the wooden fence. Hedges, I know it's not as dense, wouldn't be as dense as the yew hedge next door, but they, once they're planted, they can get as tall as they can grow, and then you can't see the house behind it. I know that it's a net reduction in asphalt on the lot, but it's still putting a lot of asphalt, the full width of the lot, right on the street, right at the streetscape level, and that's essentially that's a lot of asphalt right there at the street. It's taking essentially all the visible green grass and turning it into pavement. So I would prefer another material if possible than asphalt. There's suggestions proposed tonight, but there could be other proposals as well. But that's really my comments.
Mr. Chairman, I want to add that also the benefit of the driveway material used at the Benjamin Lincoln House is that it's water permeable. So that is a nice add when you have these steep inclines. It's not tarmac, it's not asphalt with the stuff pressed into it. It's actually a permeable surface.
Carol?
I have a suggestion. Well, first of all, I do like the fence better. I mean, look at where the middle picture that you're showing now. And if you look on all the way the left picture, that's what privet looks like 5 or 6 months out of the year. It's not green and it doesn't really block anything. I think the fence would pick up the theme in the neighborhood. It wouldn't have to be the exact fence if you wanted to come up with something with a little less space between the slats. Or build it up so it's a little taller. But if you look at that middle picture, there's a hint right there. What about granite stones? I know they're expensive, but they last forever. The cobblestones can be plowed in the wintertime. They are permeable. The rain goes right down through them. Now, where'd my picture go? And that might be something you consider. So you wouldn't get the dark reflection that you'll get off of the asphalt.
Yeah, that would be an option to do that granite cobblestone apron coming into the driveway and then possibly doing the tarmac for the rest of the driveway.
Yeah, it would be an expense. There's no doubt about it, but it'll be there forever and it would look really handsome.
I think we've got to get unified on what tarmac is and versus just so we're all on the same page. Is that asphalt?
Black, made it dark. What do you mean?
Well, tarmac to me is asphalt.
Right.
So I just wanted to make sure that that Karen was talking about asphalt, not asphalt with pea stones or what they do what they're doing at the Benjamin Lincoln House, which is totally separate idea.
And on a good hot day, asphalt has a really unique smell, all of its own. You ever had an asphalt driveway?
Yeah,
Like,
so
you're talking about granite just as you see in this photograph on the screen at the moment.
But it's just the apron is what my
Just the
understanding.
apron at the moment.
I would do it for the parking.
Yeah. Mhm.
That's-
Okay.
A lot of that on Beacon Hill too, has a lot of that.
Yeah. Okay, so that's Marianne, do you have anything or are you good? You're on mute.
I love the fence and I love the granite pavers. And if it was my preference, I would have them on the packing structure. And I would actually have them all the way up the driveway, but they are pricey, really pricey. Because I just priced them. So I know, but they're nice. That's it.
Anybody from the public wish to comment? Thought I saw a hand go up for a second. Yes. Melon?
Nancy Mellon, 182 North Street. And I'm a garden designer, and I would love to see a permeable parking area and never have privet, as it's on the invasive list of plants. So we should never use privet, but that's just my opinion.
Great.
Thank you.
Any other members of the public wish to provide feedback? Great. Okay, so I'm indifferent on fence or privet. I think both kind of work. So I'll leave that up to the commissions. I think you've got plenty of feedback on that. So I don't know how we want to move forward. There's some pretty strong feelings about the driveway. I don't know if we want to take that in a different direction than what's shown on this plan as the asphalt. I think there's a couple open questions of does the applicant really want to do that? It's up to them to provide that in their application. And then if they do, is just make sure we understand what that option is, if that's a different option that we're going to go to. So I guess I lean towards asking Karen and Adrian, given the feedback you've heard, what your feelings and thoughts are.
Yep. So I think Adrian and Bill are willing to do like the fencing instead of the privet, which is fine. That obviously their first choice was the privet, but if everybody does believe that the fence is better, they'd be willing to go with that. And then maybe what we could propose is a border of the cobblestone between the brick walk and the driveway, and then do the chip stone for the driveway, which would be like what they have at the Benjamin Lincoln House. So same process as what they used. Because I know they did look at that driveway and they do like how that looks. So we would go with the same process as what they did.
So you're saying potentially a cobblestone, like what I have drawn here, little apron.
Yeah.
And then. Okay.
Yeah, and then the fence could go where the privet is now and turn up, probably not the whole way across. That might be a little too much, but even just to go where, yeah, exactly, like 3/4, only because the trees start a little bit over there, but we would definitely turn the corner. So as you're coming down the street, the fencing would also go up. And it could even go like a little bit further if you wanted.
Okay, so with that, I personally think the fence dimension and the fence part's easy to give to Andrea, to follow up with her, that she can sign off on that. I guess the only question is, I dislike continuing for a third meeting. I don't want this to drag on. So, but I also don't know if you're in a rush to get this done. I mean, it's March 21st, and I know you're in the house now, so you probably would like a driveway and hardscaping soon. So, I'm comfortable if we describe this in a motion, and an updated plan is provided to Andrea for review, and with that submission, the material for the driveway is provided to Andrea. She knows the Benjamin Lincoln House. She knows what we're discussing, and I think it's reasonable for her to approve that on our behalf and back check that. So if there's no strong objection from the commission, I'd prefer to take a motion with those modifications to the plan. But if there's an opposition, I'm willing to listen.
Dan, can we leave it so the homeowners have the choice of those two? They may get into the cobblestones and say, oh, we can't afford that. Or they may like the other look better. But since we approve both, why not let them choose?
Yeah, that's fine. I mean, if the motion wants to be made as that it's a granite chip and stone dust embedded driveway with or without a granite cobblestone apron, if that's the wording that whoever makes the motion wants to use, I'm supportive of that.
Or the whole thing in granite, in the cobblestone.
Sure.
Decide for them, let them decide.
Yeah, I'm comfortable with that materiality option. And it being provided to Andrew as a record drawing. That's fine. So if that's the case, Andrew is waving her hand at me, so maybe I'm doing
No,
something.
I'm just saying, who's gonna make the motion?
Oh,
Let's
yeah,
make,
so who,
Justin can
with
do
that
it.
being said,
let's
Right,
make
that's-
Justin do it.
Is there a-
You're gonna make Justin do it. I was looking I don't have a copy of the original application in front of me. I see the drawing here. Let's see.
Will
Let me-
help.
I'd like to make a motion for a certificate of appropriateness for 55 North Street to
located in the Lincoln Historic District.
located in the Lincoln Historic District to modify hardscape of the property according to the drawing of dated April 15, 2024.
No, that's in the future, January 15th.
Oh, gosh, January 15th. Yes, thank you. January 15th, 2024. Where and the modifications to the drawing package include the options include a cobblestone apron between the sidewalk and the car park area at a minimum. At an option, the owner may choose to pave the entire parking area with cobblestones. Where the drawing shows a privet shrubbery, currently the motion is for a picket fence as similar as depicted in a material sheet emailed and labeled option 2 fencing as part of that was included in the meeting package.
That to be wood.
And to be wood.
And white.
And white. And let's see, what else in the do we
There
need?
was a driveway option or a parking area option.
Granite chip, stone dust.
And as at the homeowner's option, a asphalt and stone chip product may be considered. And this will the final choices to be approved by Andrea Young, the Historic District Administrator. Did I get that right? I know that was.
Well, that's your motion. We'll see if there's a second.
There's the motion.
We can do
There's the
discussion.
That's
So that's a motion. Is there a second?
Hey, Dan, there's a hand raised.
I know, I gotta get to it in the discussion. We have to take the second first.
Second.
Second.
Okay, great. So motion's been made and seconded, and I see a hand, so I know that there is discussion. And Ms. Smith, if you wish to.
Yes, I believe I heard you say the address as 55 North Street. It's actually 181 that you're talking about right now.
No, I think this is 55 North Street.
No, Mrs. Smith, the project is taking place at 55 North Street. 181 is was just used for a comparison for the driveway.
That's the Benjamin Lincoln House.
The
And
Benjamin
that's
Lincoln
next
House.
on the agenda. Next on the
That's next on the agenda.
Thank you, Ms. Smith.
Thank you, Mrs. Smith.
Catherine. You're muted.
The word asphalt was used, and I just want to clarify that it's going to be a compact stone dust and granite chip product. And the Ramseys can find out who did that driveway through Ben Wilcox or Deirdre Anderson at the Historic Society, the contractor who did it, so they can do it just like that.
Just one clarification, the asphalt product is used when they do an embedded version of that. It just would not be, the motion does not include an exposed asphalt option.
Right.
Oh, so we're allowing asphalt with the embedded product. We're not asking for the, sorry, I have an old dog.
So, we were saying, because if they wanted to use that to help restrain it, to not move it, so that when you're doing snow removal, there's a it helps lock it in better, I think was the
Okay.
option that was being
So it
given.
will be not water permeable if it's asphalt.
No, not necessarily, because you can have permeable asphalt.
Oh, you can. Okay, I was unclear on that then. Okay, good. Thank you.
Okay, any other discussion? All right, motion has been made, seconded. Carol, how do you vote?
Aye.
Eric?
Aye.
Josh?
Aye.
Justin?
Aye.
It's an aye for myself. So yes, please work with Andrea, follow up on those, clean up those few things, and then she will work with you on a certificate. So thank you for the
Great,
flexibility
thank
and
you.
everything.
I just want to say thank you to Andrea and thank you to all of the commission. I appreciate that you came to visit our driveway last week and get a sense, and I appreciate all the care you have for the town of Hingham and its historic nature. Thank you.
Thank you. It's
Thank
gonna-
you, Adrian.
Good job.
Thank you.
Thank
Okay. Not that far behind schedule. We're doing well, everybody.
What's an hour?
So, only 27 minutes, not bad. Sorry to keep you, Jen. So our next agenda item is 181 North Street, Benjamin Lincoln House, located in Lincoln Historic District. Seek approval for existing 36-inch high safety fence and 24-inch high guardrail, and approval for two 36-inch condenser units and a 42-inch fence to enclose them. So, Jen, are you?
Okay.
Oh, you're on here twice.
I am?
Yeah, you are.
Ooh,
I'm gonna remove the one that's not unmuted talking.
okay. Sorry about that.
All right, there you go.
Okay, no more echo?
Nope,
No
we're
more
good.
echo. I
Goodness,
think Ben has joined us as well.
yes.
Great.
If you could share, Dan, that would be great.
Yes, so there it is. I'm going to start with this, and I hope that's all right. The location of the condensers.
Okay,
So,
oh, go ahead.
actually, sorry, one thing, our commission did make a site visit last Saturday to review the fencing and location of the condensers. Sorry, take it away.
That's okay. So we're looking to add AC to the House Museum. So we would need to put in two 36-inch condenser units to the east side of the house of right there. Yeah, with a fence around it. So if you're looking at the house from North Street, it would be on the left side of the house. I believe we sent pictures of the same, that we did at Old Ordinary. So it would look like the same type of fence hiding the two AC units. Yep, right there. Ben Wilcox did that project for us, and he's going to be doing this project for us as well. So it would be the same. And you can see the proposed location in photo D. And given the topography of the lot and from North Street, it would be pretty hidden back in that corner from the street view.
Okay, and then there are, I believe, there's the guardrail up here.
Yes, so this is the guardrail that was on our site plan when we first went through this review process with the town that the planning board required for adding the new, the parking spaces that we added. So this was something that needed to be signed off from the planning board and the building inspector for safety reasons. And then we also added a safety fence along the stone wall adjacent to the garage. That was also something that was needed to add, that we needed to add for safety reasons to get signed off on our site plan as well.
I think that's everything, right? Here's the
Yep.
fence. That's the one fence. This is the other two, condenser. Great.
Yeah.
Seems pretty straightforward. Ben, do you have anything you wish to add?
Dan, maybe having trouble with audio?
No, we can hear you.
Yeah, we got you.
Okay. Yeah, let me give you the details on the materials. On
Great.
the guardrail, we copied one that the town has used on similar situations. For instance, the tennis courts behind Town Hall. It's the least obtrusive we can use. It should weather to a natural gray eventually. As mentioned at the meeting, our plan, although it can't be considered tonight, is to be eliminate that guardrail and move that stone wall further back to give more distance from the roadways. We won't need a guardrail.
Mm-hmm.
On the fence, that took a little negotiation with the building department. This is considered a commercial building and the fence needs to be 42 inches high. After emails back and forth, Mike Clancy was nice enough to consider the fact that it's 42 inches off the gravel. And so now we have a 36-inch fence, looks a lot more appropriate for a residential neighborhood. That fence is all mahogany and it has galvanized posts drilled into the stone with pressure treated posts that are wrapped in pine, all painted the same color as the house. I think that's it for the materials. The fencing around the air conditioning units will be the same material. It's all painted mahogany with pressure treated posts that are painted to match. All the colors are painted to match the house.
Great. All right. Any comments from commission members to provide feedback? Great. Anybody from the public wish to provide feedback? Okay. I think it looks great. Thanks for putting this together. Thanks for coming to us. Is there a commission member that would want to make a motion?
I can do it. I'd like to make a motion for a certificate of appropriateness for 181 North Street, Benjamin Lincoln House located in the Lincoln Historic District. For approval of an existing 36-inch safety fence along the stone wall adjacent to the garage, an existing 24-inch guardrail on the east side of the property for parking safety, 2 36-inch condenser units, and a new 42-inch privacy fence to enclose the AC units on the west side of the house from the view. Oh, it says west, it's east.
Is it east?
It's west. I'm sorry. Yeah.
Sorry, okay.
That's okay. Based on the drawings submitted on 2/29/2024.
Great. Motion made. Is there a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion? Hearing none. Carol, how do you vote?
Aye.
Catherine?
Aye.
Justin?
Aye.
Eric?
Aye.
And it's an aye for me. So the motion passes. You have your certificate of appropriateness. Thanks for putting together the package and providing us all the information.
Thank you all so much for your time.
Thank
Yep.
you.
Thank you.
All right. 15 minutes behind. All right, next up. 302 North Street, located in the Lincoln Historic District for installation of this is the one 42-inch high fence in the backyard,
Yes.
Andrew?
Yeah, that's the one I
Typo
screwed up.
Yes, it's a typo on the agenda. The agenda says 6 foot high, but it is not. It is a 42-inch high fence. So is our applicant?
I'm here.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
Hi.
Hi. Hi.
Let me I don't know if I got, I don't think I have this one, Andrea.
Yes, you do. I sent it to Sarah. Yeah.
Sorry. Oh, there it is. Gotcha. Okay, I will share my screen. Okay, so if you don't mind, is this Jennifer as well?
Yes, that's right.
Okay,
Yes,
great.
hi.
So if you don't mind, if you want to share just an overview of your application, I can run through the plans that you have submitted and we can take it from there.
Sure. So it's a fence that's 42 inches tall. It's cedar. It's spaceboard style. Cap post on the roadside. Can see from the road on either side of the house. Gate locations are on the maps. Wide gate at the end of the driveway. 2 gates for people on either side towards the road. The fence company's Armstrong Fence. On the package that we sent in, pages 1 through 4 show the location of the fence from different views. Pages 5 to 6 have fence style photographs. Page 7 has fence specification, and page 8 has a picture of the house from the front.
Okay. All right, so let's talk about the fence location first. Which one shows it the best? This is North Street.
It's red. Yeah, like you can see the arrows around that one.
Yeah. All right, so tell me if I've got this right. Is it intended to, oops.
You can see like a horseshoe pattern
here.
Yeah, it'll go across there and then it'll follow, actually, I think it's closer in on that horseshoe piece right there.
Okay.
And then up and around.
Yep.
So it's only where our grass is currently. It is not in the conservation land at all.
Dan, could you bring us to page 3 of the package that's submitted? I think there was maybe it's not page 3. What is it? Let me show.
Yeah, right there.
There, that's what does that look correct? That looks.
Yep, that's correct.
Yep.
Okay. So that's the location. Okay, and then, sorry, just because we're going back to this one. Gate on this side and then gate here?
Yes.
Okay, single gates, double gates?
Single gates.
Okay, 2 single gates, okay. And then our fence is this style, so 42 inches tall to the top, right?
Yes.
And then this is all wood, painted, unpainted?
It's being installed unpainted.
Okay, and so this is all cedar?
Cedar.
Okay. So cedar posts with these caps?
Only on the front, like where it's facing the road.
Okay.
So on the sides, like where you cannot see it, only we would see it from the back, they will not have caps.
Okay. And then this is what it looks like. This is looking at it from the inside?
Yes, and that also shows what an uncapped piece looks like. So that will be in our yard, but will not be visible from the road.
Okay. And then this is just another photo. So, oops, I went the wrong way. That's fine. And that's just a proposal. And then this is, yep. There we go. Oh, I know this house now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We went to site visit here. That's right. Nah, it's all coming back to me. It's been a long day. Okay, so that's the summary. I'll open that, unless you have anything else to add, I'll just open it up to the commission members.
Okay, perfect.
Carol.
Yeah, I'm looking at the fence as it's pictured on 6 and 7, and or is it 5? 5 and 6, sorry. One of them, this one right here that we're looking at, oops, that one, looks as though the slats are a little wider and the distance between each one is a little closer. And then if you go to the next page, could be illusion. That looks like the slats aren't as wide and there's more space between. Are they two different?
There's definitely more space.
Yeah, there's definitely more space. This is from the fence company. So it would be my preference when we actually have the fence installed to have it a little closer.
Closer together.
Yes. But if we're not allowed to have that, we can go with it further apart.
I think that's your choice. And at some point, both the fence and the post will be painted, or are you going to let it go natural?
We want to paint it white.
Okay, and the post would be the same.
Correct. All of it would be the same.
And it's all cedar.
Yes.
Yay, that's all my questions. Thank you.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Justin?
I think it's an appropriate application. I like the notion of the natural fence with the owner's option to paint it white in the future. I think it's an appropriate application.
Thank you.
Eric?
Yeah, no comments. It's appropriate to me.
Catherine?
It looks like on Google Maps, I don't know if that's an antiquated view, but it looks like there's already a fence there. And then there's also a row of shrubs. And I'm just wondering if the fence will be behind the shrubs or the shrubs don't exist anymore.
So we just bought this house. We just moved in on Christmas Day and we had not seen the house until we closed on it. So when we arrived, it's plastic fencing. It's my understanding that it was probably not approved by the historical commission. The previous owner put it in and we're choosing to remove it. So I don't know who put it in. Part of it is behind some shrubs, but all our landscaping will stay the same, but we're just putting the fence that we're proposing on the property and removing anything that was not put in by us, essentially.
Alrighty, so the shrubs will stay and this will
stay.
Okay, terrific. Thank you.
Anyone have a picture of the neighborhood or what the neighbors look like? I can't picture the house.
Oh, it's this house. We did a site visit.
We're between Baxter and Beale.
Oh, so you don't have any close neighbors on either side of this fence?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, we site visit this when there was a contemplation of a renovation addition.
No.
Actually, I think we issued a certificate, right, Andrea?
We did a year and a half ago or so.
Yep.
And then they sold it instead?
Yep.
We do that a lot.
Okay.
Welcome to Hingham.
Yeah.
Did I get everybody? Mary Ann or Josh, do you have anything you want to add in? No?
I think it's appropriate.
Great. All right, so anybody from the public wish to provide comments? Okay, hearing no further discussion, is there an interest in a motion?
I'll make that motion. I'd like to make a motion for a certificate of appropriateness to 302 North Street in the Lincoln Historic District of Hingham to build a fence around the backyard as depicted in drawings submitted tonight to tonight's meeting, dated, let me pick the best date here. I see February 2023. Fence to be wood slatted fence as depicted in the cut sheet submitted to the meeting. Homeowner to let fence be natural or at option in the future painted white. That's my motion.
Second.
Is there a second?
Yes.
All right, there's a second. Any discussion?
I think the date is 2/25/24.
Oh, thank you. I was going to catch that too. Justin's going back in the future and.
Well, I see February 16 on one drawing here, but
Time to update your prescription.
oh yes, that is for sure true.
All right, motion made and seconded. Any discussion? All right, is there, let's see, Justin, how do you vote?
Aye.
Eric,
Aye.
Catherine,
Aye.
Carol?
Aye.
Denied for me, so the motion passes. You have a certificate of appropriateness. Do me a favor. Well, first off, two things. Thank you, Ms. Weldon, for buying a new house in a historic district and being aware of the process and being part of it. So thank you. And then secondly, when it comes to paint, just follow up with Andrea directly to take care of that.
Okay, great. And I have a degree in art and I studied historic preservation in college, Savannah College of Art and Design. So I appreciate what all of y'all do. And I look forward to just being part of this community going forward.
Oh, and maybe on the committee
Thank you so
someday.
much.
Andrea, do we still have an opening as an alternate member?
Yes, we do.
Ms. Weldon, you should think about it.
Okay, I will. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So 4 minutes ahead of schedule, if anybody needs to use the bathroom or get a drink. We can't start the
Raise
next
our
item.
hands.
We can't start the next agenda item for another 3 minutes.
Fun facts, Andrea?
I do. I'm looking for fun facts as we speak. So let's see. I need more light.
Dan, are we?
Anybody want to hear where the term slush fund comes from?
No.
Hold on, I think Eric had a real question. What's up, Eric?
What about 988 Main? That was supposed to be
Oh, I'm
7:45.
sorry, I skipped over that. We are still behind. Oh, thank you, Eric.
Where's your
I got all
button?
excited
Okay,
and
never mind. I had a fun fact.
It was going to be fun, I can tell.
we'll see
Yeah, it was.
if we work hard, we'll earn it later. All right,
Okay.
sorry about that. Thank you, Eric. 745 is agenda item is 988 Main Street located in Liberty Plain Historic District to install a privacy fence along the side of the property to intersect with the neighbor's fence. And is our applicant, Mr.
Yes,
Lau?
the Lallies are here.
Yes.
Sorry about that. So I have your exhibits. Do you want to share or do you want me to?
You can share.
Okay.
So my wife and I moved in last May. We both grew up in Hingham and are excited to be back. So we're right in the corner of Main and Long Meadow. We've got, a decent sized backyard. We have 3 little kids, a 4-year-old, a 2-year-old, and a newborn. And a big part of buying the house was, letting the kids play in the backyard and all that. As probably most of you know, people come around that corner pretty hot on Long Meadow in speed. So it's important to us, really, that we want to get a fence in before the summer and the weather gets nice, so we don't have to worry about the kids playing in the backyard.
Yeah.
So my neighbor has on 3 Long Meadow, has a white vinyl fence directly behind us. And we're proposing a 6x8 cedar wood fence along the side of Long Meadow, and then it's not going to connect to their fence, but going up right against it, leaving a little bit of space.
Okay, let's talk to this. Just talk us through this red line and then.
Yeah, so the red line is where the fence will go. So starting off at the side, so that's all on the Long Meadow side. So starting off at the side of our house, I have a bulkhead right there. So we'll go right in front of the bulkhead and then go out to a couple of feet short of the street. And then there will be a gate, a 6x4 gate going right there, a single gate. And then the fence will go, along to the end of the property line and then connecting down to, and that's where it ends there is where my neighbor's fence is.
Okay. So that fence then comes down here and across. So all you're looking to do is infill just this red line.
On the other side is the cemetery. So that's a different fence, but yeah, I'm just looking to bring it all the way to his fence. Up top there. And I showed some pictures of what his fence looks like, so you can see where it would go.
Okay. Test the dimensions is that, okay. So if we're looking at just trying to get my orientation. If we're looking at this, the fence is coming off of this.
Yeah,
side.
right about there. Yep.
Yeah, okay. And this is the proposed fence, so 6 feet tall to the top of the post or top of this rail?
Top of the rail.
Okay, so, and then and then roughly 8-foot panels, okay. And then this is the yard, yep.
It's across the street, yeah, and there's my neighbor's fence.
Yep, which is also a 6-foot tall fence?
Yes.
Okay. And that's where it's gonna go, okay. Pretty straightforward package, I'll open up, Eric, do you have any comments?
Only comment, I think, for the record, I'm looking at Long Meadow. Can you confirm that the neighbor across the street on Long Meadow, I think they have a 6-foot cedar fence, at least they did in the street view. I don't know if it still exists.
Yeah, I think that house is technically on Main Street.
Mhm.
Across, they have a cedar fence too, yes.
But along like Long Meadow, they have this.
Yes, along Long Meadow, they have a cedar fence, yes.
Okay.
Catherine?
I'm on Google Maps. I'm just trying to absorb
I can come back to you if you want.
the location and stuff. So the bulkhead will be behind the fence?
Yes, you won't be able to see the bulkhead from the street.
to me, what I'm looking at on Google Maps. So that
I
would
looked
be.
at, I'm sorry.
That's all right.
I looked at this earlier. You can't go down Long Meadow on Google Maps, but you can on Bing Maps, if anybody's curious.
I was wondering, I couldn't go down Long Meadow on my Google Maps. Good scoop.
You aren't planning to build a pool back there, are you?
No, there's a septic tank right in the middle of the backyard as well.
So you don't, it doesn't have to be 6 feet. And she got very tall children.
No.
Carol's asking that because our zoning bylaw is 6 feet for a pool.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I think we were under the idea that it was supposed to be 6 feet.
Yeah.
Oh, it can be any height you like.
Oh,
Yeah, yeah. The 6 feet is only if you have a pool. That's
Okay,
the
yeah.
regulation. So you could do 4, 42, 36 that we've talked about. So,
Do you want to, is it possible, Mr. Chairman, to approve the fence and let Andrea approve the style? Or like as one of our previously?
it's a little bit of a stretch, I think. And I'm very easygoing to try to push stuff onto Andrea, but I think that's a little too much. So I do know. Sorry, go ahead, Jeff. Sorry, Josh.
I am generally and consistently opposed to 6-foot fences in historic districts, especially solid wood fences. I think that I was trying to look at the maps. I don't know if Long Meadow is in the Liberty Plain district, but it's still, a public way, and the homes behind it. Then this is kind of the entrance to a neighborhood, and to have right along the streetscape a tall, solid wooden fence, I think is not in keeping with the historic nature of the neighborhood. And so I totally agree that a fence, if I had, I do have kids and I would certainly want them to have a nice fence there. So, I would propose maybe a 4-foot fence with a 2-foot picket topper or something like that, which we've approved at, or, considered and approved at other places. That would be my, proposal for something that I think might work here and minimize some of the severity right at the entrance to that neighborhood.
Yeah, we have no preference on the size of the fence. Like my wife said, I think we were under the impression that it had to be the 6-foot fence. Like we would do whatever you all suggested.
The woman that was just before us, because she had dogs in the backyard, that was a nice fence because it was a little open and you get air moving through and it doesn't feel like a fort. I don't know if you saw.
Maybe they do it. Do the Lilies need to come back with a couple of possibilities, or could they be submitted to us and then we approve them after we approve the fence?
Could we propose without a picture the 4-foot fence with the 2-foot topper? Because it would be like the same.
That little guy doesn't look like he's going over any fence.
He's not. This is our newest edition. He's not going to be.
He's gonna have to get some speed up. Yeah.
You want it to be heard in the meeting, I think.
Yeah, I guess my only comment is I feel like we're throwing a lot at them. So I don't know, it just feels like I want to make sure they're getting what they want or clear. So
I was about to say our next meeting is gonna be, we'll talk about this at the end of the night, but I'll preface it now. We have a conflict with town meeting now. So I'm looking at the calendar. We're probably gonna move our meeting up to the 18th of April. So if we continued it to the 18th of April, Ryan, does this still get you time to get it in before the summer? And is that a possibility? And then you could work with Andrea to just revise this and we'll get you first on the agenda for the next meeting.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not a confrontational person, so I feel awkward, but I don't understand if I'm going to do what you all are saying, what's the hesitancy in approving the fence today?
So it's Because the application in front of us is for a 6-foot tall fence, that I don't think there's an issue with the location, but it's for a 6-foot tall fence and we don't have anything, like, we need something on the record with the application.
Right.
And which we're starting to skew away pretty far away from what the application is. And so that's why I asked the question, does coming back to us in 4 weeks, and to just clean this up, is that a possibility?
Yeah, I mean, it is. It's not the end of the world, but I'd like to get, I mean, I was hoping to get the process started pretty soon.
I mean, Dan,
The main goal is just to get your top choice of fence. It's to actually give you some time to figure out exactly what you want versus what you thought you wanted, which was the 6-foot, what you thought you had to have, which was the 6-foot fence. So we want to give you an opportunity to pick your perfect fence and present it to us, is what we're trying.
And we do not object to where the fence is proposed to be located.
Yeah,
So there's a lot that is in good shape.
but I guess Dan, or Ryan, if like you have I think we just thrown out different types. So if you're like, this is the type, we could come on it. I think there's been a lot tossed around. So if you literally said,
Yeah, the one that you just said, the 4-foot with the two
Slat.
the two
Foot slats.
yeah, the 2-foot slabs, like that one looked perfect to me.
We walked around a lot and kind of like looked at different fences, and we just thought that one looked clean, but the neighbors across the way,
Yeah, I
like
that a
their
lot.
fence.
So,
Yeah.
so for reference, this is actually a 5-foot fence.
Okay, so we would prefer, I think, the 2-foot with the 6-foot with the 2-foot slats that match the neighbors across the street from us.
So it would be 4 feet with a 2-foot topper.
Yes.
And
Is
was
that-
it open or solid?
There's a solid on the bottom.
Yeah.
But it's quite open on top.
You said the company you're using was Armstrong? Maybe we could pull up their website and just decide on the fence.
No, the company I was using, a company called SM Tree Service. It's kind of a all-in-one landscape fence patio company that does everything. They're located out of Avon.
I see.
Yeah, so and that's part of my other hesitation. I mean, yeah, we can approve this, and then you go back to them tonight, and then they don't actually do that fence or have that fence, or it's different. Like, that's where it's like, we really want to try to approve something that's in your application that we have in front of us that we know is actually proposed on. So,
Right, and right now, the application is misleading to us. It's not correct at the moment, as far as the fence material itself. Yeah.
And I said it, I really do try to get people in and out, and I don't want this to be a holdup, but I feel like we're just deviating too much, and there's a little bit of uncertainty. We really, if you're amenable to it, should really have you come back on the 18th.
Yeah, I mean, it's just frustrating. I went to Andrew's office twice and walked through with this, so I wish I was given a little heads up that this could have been a problem. But yeah, if it have to come back the 18th, it is what it is.
Yeah, I apologize for that. I mean, yeah, I didn't get a chance to look at these and get through the pack until late last night. So, had I known that, I probably, if I had more time, I could have communicated to Andrew and asked if this was a pool thing, because the 6-foot jumped out at me and the density of it. So, apologies that we didn't get that to you sooner, and that there's miscommunication between you and Andrea on this. But I think it's pretty clear the feedback is that, shorter or more open, or I think it would be good just to work with S&M, get an example of what they're going to build, submit it. We'll put you first on the agenda. We're going to move to the 18th, and we'll get you moving.
All
right. So we're going to continue to our next meeting for 988 Main Street. And again, I apologize. I understand the frustration.
Yep.
Okay. Next agenda item is 237, 239 South Street located in the Hingham Historic District to construct a covered porch with a new entrance and a rear addition with the window changes at 239 South Street, west side, and that is Mr. and Mrs. Amster. Are you going to be presenting, or do we have Mr. Arias? All right, you're gonna drive the ship. I'm off the docket, right?
Sounds good. Yes, yeah. I'll
great.
Good evening, John Teriyaki Architectural Design, and I'm here with the homeowners, Pamela and Dick Amster, who live in this house. And we have actually been in front of you before during the September of 2022 for a minor request to enclose a corner porch at this house. And tonight's proposal includes that previous proposal, which was approved. And now we have further changes on the other side of the house due to some reasons that I will summarize shortly. Maybe, yeah. I'll go ahead and share my screen, and Dick and Pam, please feel free to weigh in at any time.
You're doing great, John.
Sounds good. And again, just to give you a little orientation, South Street, past Hersey Street, this is a two-family house. 239 is on the kind of the southwest side, and 237 is on the east side of the property. And I did include some historical background in the application. And this photo is interesting because this photo, which I don't have an exact date for, but I think from the cars, we can kind of locate it in history. But on the left side, as you look at the house from the street, or on the west side, you do see a covered porch that used to be there. So we thought this was always an interesting precedent in trying to achieve what we're trying to do, because this is what that west side looks like today. And I'm just going to zoom in briefly. That porch is gone. There's a very narrow concrete walkway leading to a door that's kind of very tight. And previously, the approval we had asked for back in 2022 was basically enclosing this right side covered porch, simply putting a paneled enclosure there, moving the door, leave the roof and everything. And then here, we were actually proposing kind of a skinny porch for this door, trying to minimize the work that was going to take place. However, since then, there's been an unfortunate fire on the west side of the west unit on the second floor. So if you've driven by, you may have seen the plywood panels, and most of that second floor, unfortunately, the interior has had significant damage, which kind of pushed the Amsters towards a renovation that's a little more inclusive for this side of the house, primarily in the back. And I'll show you the images shortly. And as part of that, an extension of that was to reinstate that historic covered porch here, essentially abandon this entry. We're proposing a window there and a new covered porch on this side. And this is the back of the property, which is interesting because it has kind of these varying massing that's coming out in and out all over the place. Very interesting, evolution over time. Yeah, I'll just go right to the drawings. These are the existing floor plans. Just the first floor plan. South Street is at the bottom. That covered porch that we would like to enclose or keep that previous approval in the scope. And on the left side, we are modifying this area, and we're proposing a rear addition, part of which will be visible from an oblique angle from the street. Existing floor plans just shows the rear bump out, the covered porch towards the front, the enclosure, again, the vestibule as proposed. Second floor expansion. The left side of this will be actually barely visible, but then on the lower level, we are proposing some changes here as well. And I think the best way to show this, I'm just going to split my screen so that we can see the existing and proposed elevations side by side. So at the top of the screen is essentially the west elevation, or from the driveway. Here's that the side of that concrete porch, the existing walkway. And here is the elevation on the driveway side, showing our rear expansion with the new windows, and then the side of our proposed porch. The front portion of the house, we're not proposing any changes, so those windows will all remain. But this gives you an idea of the kind of the impact of the addition, in that most of that second floor bump out is set further in and not really visible from the street. This facade will be visible from an oblique angle. The porch is really the most visible element. Just going to go to the existing front elevation and propose, kind of seeing them together. Again, right side, we're just proposing to enclose that porch, creating a vestibule with a new door, paneled exterior with pilasters. We had talked about this in the previous approval. And at the left side, just bringing in a simple covered porch with a hip roof that tucks under those existing windows, and proposing a new front door and a new window to replace this door. So that's in essence the main part of the project. The rear elevation is really, I'll just show the existing and proposed rear elevations just for comparison. Here's the existing, and here's the proposed. So the main difference is this two-story piece coming towards the back, but this facade is obviously not visible from Main Street, but most of the essence of the rear will remain the same. So I'm happy to go back and answer further questions that the commission may have, but this is essentially the summary of the project.
Do you have, if you have it handy, I'm just curious because I don't anymore. Do you have what we approved handy real quick?
Yeah, just a minute. Let me just pull up that PDF.
I just want to refresh my memory.
Yeah, absolutely.
Do we know what the date of the previous hearing was? Because I'll pull out my packet.
Yeah, I think it was September 2022. And I'm just going to scroll to the elevations that we had presented. So on the right side, again, we were enclosing that porch, and on the left side,
yeah,
you're putting kind of a mini covered porch. And I guess we were kind of extending that mudroom out a little bit.
Yes, that's right. That's what I thought. Okay.
Yeah. But yeah.
Great, super helpful. The only, no, that was in there. Okay. Okay, I will open it up to commission members. So, well, Catherine, you're at the top of my screen.
Thank you for this complete application. I'm kind of surprised we approved the enclosing of the porch on the right, just because it is so predominant in this historic photograph, but I guess that's water under the bridge. I love that you're reinstating it on the left side, and I think that is appropriate. So I'm wondering about the style of the door as being, maybe there could be a more historic choice. This seems to be more of a modern contemporary choice. But other than that, I don't think I have any comments.
John, do you have something for the door that you want to talk about?
Yeah, we can certainly modify that to a different, slightly more historic, maybe closer to the existing front door. Instead of the more kind of simpler single panel. Yeah.
It's reading a little craftsman to me.
Yeah. Yeah, sure. Yeah, we can certainly propose a different spec. It's going to be a solid wood door, but we can propose a a more historically appropriate spec for the commission's review. Approval.
Justin, what do you have for us?
I don't have any comments that feel helpful. I think it's a reasonable proposal.
Carol?
I just wanted to ask the date of the original Center Hall Colonial. When was this built?
I believe,
1798.
yes, exactly.
1798?
Mm-hmm.
And do we know the original square footage of the original house, the Center
We
Hall?
do not. We do not. It's been added on to so many times in so many peculiar ways, and we do not have that history.
And how many bedrooms do you have now as opposed to when you're done all the new additions?
We have 5 bedrooms and an alcove, a sleeping alcove, which is, my daughter is on the other side. She's the side that unfortunately had the fire. So there is a proper bedroom, front facing, and rear facing is an alcove. I don't believe it's any more than maybe 5 feet deep, something like that.
Bedroom counts are outside of our purview, so that's all right.
So that will become a proper bedroom. That bump back will allow our grandson to have a proper bedroom.
So this is not turning into a dual house, a 2-family house.
This actually is a pre-existing 2-family house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's already a 2-family house.
I don't know where to start. I just feel like there's a beautiful old colonial buried under there somewhere, and not you guys. I know it's been going on a very long time. It feels like it's being gobbled up or buried or something. There's so much happening. It's gone from looking like a single house, and I know some of them are split down the middle and all that, to having an almost it looked like an inn. There's a wonderful inn in Lincoln that looks very much like this, with porches on both sides and additions, and there's not much land there. It's not like there's a big acres and acres of land to build on. If this were out in the country up on a hill or something, it just feels like, holy moly.
Well, we got to work within the confines of the existing, and we can't undo the past. So, but yes. Eric, do you have any comments?
I think this more general administrative, like there's new windows. What's the window going to be? Assuming the new addition siding. I was looking on the plans. I didn't see a call out. So it's the match existing. I do see the cedar shingle siding to match existing.
Yeah, the windows are
all up for everyone. Is the roof, the new roofing, it's asphalt shingles. It looks like to match existing. I think the main administrative thing of the new windows, just making sure what those will be.
Yeah, the windows are listed as Marvin Wood Ultimate on the cover sheet.
Okay, I missed that. Thank you.
Yeah, I was looking for, I almost asked the same question and I saw it late.
Okay, great, sorry.
The question on the, can you flash that photograph again on the Form B? I guess it's a Form.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Form B. I'm just wondering on the porch details, if there's anything of historic merit there that could be brought back to life.
The one item we had discussed was the railing, but then we thought maybe, since it wasn't required by code, we thought maybe it was getting a little too busy, so we didn't include the railing. And detail-wise, this does seem like a pretty simple porch that was, it's not really as detailed as the one on the right from trim line perspective. It almost seems utilitarian.
Yeah, it really does. So your plan is to kind of copy the style that's on the right, simple and.
Yeah, exactly. Add a little more shadow line, add a proper frieze detail. And we are hoping to well, this was actually in the previous proposal. There is an existing round wood column, and we would like to reuse that as the corner column of this porch. And then have a slight frieze and fascia detail to complement this one, but not necessarily be as
And wasn't
I
that
guess.
column a topic of a great deal of discussion?
It was.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
The round column was not a favorite, but
And then
No matter what, we're keeping the column. It may end up in the backyard, but the column remains.
so the pilasters on the right are flat pilasters.
yes, these are flat pilasters, kind of echoing the main entry, but trying to not compete with it. And then similarly, this just kind of played down compared to the existing two entries. That was kind of the idea.
Thank you.
Did I get everybody? Wait, I miss anybody? Carol, Eric, Justin?
Is there a Muntin width that's specified? I saw the spec for the it's a Marvin, but I didn't see a Muntin width. Maybe I overlooked it.
It's not specified, but we can, if the commission has a preference, we can certainly specify it.
So all the windows are being replaced, or just the windows that are?
Just the windows noted. So that are associated with the addition in the back. The front windows are not being, those are existing, they remain.
I noticed there was a call out for the window above the front door, that it might be replaced, and it looks like the existing is a 9/9, and you're proposing a 6/6.
That was actually meant to match the existing, so let me just go back to the photograph. Yeah, that just hasn't been, yeah. I think that's just a drafting issue there. It's meant to be either repaired or replaced with existing matching true divided light window. So yeah, the 6/6 is a drafting mistake. Yeah, it will remain as is if it gets repaired. It was discussed because I think it has some issues.
So I'm sorry, I'm confused on the window. Is that a new window, or is that an original window over the door?
Maybe the answers could clarify that. I don't know 100% if this is original.
It's hard to know if it's original, but it appears to be the oldest window in the house.
And then the other 6/6s are also old, but
they're pretty old, but again, we couldn't tell you how old.
okay. So my question is, are you seeking an permission to replace the center window over the door?
Probably.
Because I would say keeping that old historic quirky window, that oddball window above the door with the other windows is kind of part of the charm of this home.
Well, if we replaced it, it would be with an appropriate historically correct window.
With the 9/9.
We're working with Peter Bickford. He suggested he might stop in and see you, Andrea, to talk about it. So our intention is to preserve that character of that window. This one is in pretty rough shape, and maybe it's repairable, but I'm not sure.
As a 9/9, though.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
We can make
absolutely.
that correction. I can submit a corrected drawing representing it as a 9/9 as opposed to 6/6.
Thank you.
And my
hallway where the 9/9 is. It just was mostly the bedroom and
Water down below in the sitting room or the parlor or whatever it's called.
So the
and then it moved
windows
back.
on the left side of the house, are those also trying to be replaced or restored?
Yes, yeah. So including what do you call the molding on the outside? Those will have to be done. Everything. I mean, you know, they just stripped everything off when they smashed the windows out.
Oh, so
and
they're
put the hole in the
all the windows on the
roof.
left side of the house are gone.
Upstairs.
Upstairs.
No, the two front ones and the one side one upstairs. Those three in the master bedroom are no longer there. They're covered by plywood.
There may come a time when we look at the other windows downstairs, but for now, those are the ones that are damaged, the three upstairs.
And that's what you're requesting to be replaced.
Yes, although that's currently not visually noted. In the revised drawing that I will send, I'm happy to clarify that. Right now, these are just noted as existing, but because I wasn't sure about the status of whether they can be reinstalled. But those through windows, we can add the notation for those three to be replaced with in-kind.
Okay.
True divided light windows.
What is the rest of the commission? Does anyone else, am I missing anything on the windows? Does anyone else want to chime in on that?
Any other feedback or comments from the commission? Any comments from the public? Okay. So, side door. In summary, what I see is the side doors, a cut sheet for that, maybe solid panel feedback. Some clarification on that 9/9 window over the door, cut sheet for the windows to clarify sizing buttons. I technically don't think that the cover sheet, when it calls out the ultimates, it doesn't actually say true divided or simulated divided, unless I'm missing that. It just calls out the Marvin ultimate, which comes in a non-divided and a faux grill insert one. So it'd be good to just clarify if it's simulated or authentic. And then the three windows, two on the southeast elevation, one on the southwest elevation, that needs to be updated on the drawings. Anything else from commission members or anything else I'm missing?
Oh, I have one more question. Is there any windows on the rear that will be removed for the new addition that could be used in the front or the side to replace the damaged windows?
That's a good question.
John, you can correct me, but I think they're vinyl windows, aren't they?
It is a little bit of a mixture. I think that could certainly be discussed with Peter further. I know some of them are vinyl, but there may be some of these over here, maybe, I think. But that, I think, was a replacement window at some point, but like this one here, maybe a historic window right here. So I think could be a possibility, yeah.
So that, those 5 items, is that something we could explore, clean up, and then put you on the next agenda and kind of just button this up? Is that okay?
I believe
Okay
so.
with,
Yeah.
It's okay with us.
Okay, yeah, it'd be great if we could just button those things up for the next meeting. And like I said, it'll be, I'm gonna move it up to the 18th of April. So, John, these seems pretty easy for you to update this packet and get it in time.
Yes. Yeah, we'll make those changes and submit it to the board a couple of weeks before the hearing. 3 weeks, 2 weeks, 3 weeks.
I think with these minor modifications, if you get this to us the week before, that's fine.
Okay, and it was April 18th, right? The next
Yes.
one. Yeah, okay.
We're moving it because of town meeting conflicting with us. Somehow they trump us.
I'd come
Um,
here.
What's that?
I'd come here.
Oh. Okay, it's a continuance then, for 237, 239 South Street, and we will see you at the next meeting. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Dan, I have one, I guess maybe a question for Andrea on this. It's not necessarily a preview, but the scale of the addition, are they held to the new energy code requirements, or do they need to get a sign off from you? Is something
It's 1,000 square feet is the threshold.
That's correct. I don't believe we are over 1,000 square feet, but I can get that exact number.
Yeah, I mean, not our coverage is just something that pinged my head because we haven't seen much of that yet. So I just didn't want it to catch everyone off guard.
And is that something that the commission is keeping an eye on, or what's the commission's involvement with? I'm just curious.
No, I think
Historic
Eric's
homes.
asking because if you were over 1,000 and you are in a historical building, there is potentially an historical exemption. We wouldn't want you certainly ripping out all the original windows to meet the new energy code. So something for consideration, but if you're under the 1,000, it's not even a thing.
Sounds good.
Okay, next agenda item is.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Good night, hamsters. Thank you.
Good night.
Sleep tight.
Thank you. You too.
183 Main Street in the Pear Tree Hill Local Historic District to renovate the second floor rear of the house to increase the roof height, add new windows, construct a portico at the side entrance. And I see
Reinhold, how are you?
Not too
Nice
bad,
to see
Andrea.
you.
Nice to see you. Same here. And I will also remember Justin Aborn. Hi. Hi, everybody.
Hello, Reinhold.
Sorry, Sarah can't be with us. She has to go skiing in Austria. She's gone, unfortunately.
Yes.
She's asleep now. I talked to her a while ago. She's asleep, but I apologize. Hi, Andrea.
Hi, so this one is me as well. John Teriyaki.
Hi, John. Nice to meet you finally. Finally meet you.
Hi, Reinhold. Yes, over Zoom.
See what I did there? Got you back to back.
Thank you. Appreciate that. Yeah, so I'll be happy to just dive in and show you, go through the drawings to summarize this project. So we're not proposing any changes to the front portion of the house. This is 183 Main Street. Here are some existing photographs, and our focus is really the back wing of the house, the rear wing, in order to improve the ceiling heights of the primary bedroom here. We are proposing to lift that eave line and recreate a gable roof that's slightly higher. And we are proposing a different kind of cover at the side entrance, which is off of this charming courtyard, which really can't be seen from Main Street. I'm just going to go over the existing drawings. Here's the front portion of the house, and here's the back wing in question. Side elevations. There was a lone dormer there. Otherwise, the ceiling heights are quite low.
I'll hit my forehead every morning. So I curse every morning because I hit my forehead.
Yeah, as a reminder. We basically, no footprint change other than the increase of the roof height and then the covered porch or portico below. I think I'm just going to go put these side by side again because it's pretty helpful to see it kind of in context together. So here's the elevation off of that courtyard that I mentioned. So Main Street is to our right. So this facade is really not visible from Main Street, but I did want to show you the comparison of the existing versus proposed. We would like to match the eave line of the existing gable, but obviously drop the ridge line further from the main house to play that down and continue a new language of double hung windows and shutters to complement the rest of the house. I'm just going to jump to the opposite elevation. The right side elevation, or the north side elevation, existing versus proposed. So we are taking this eave line and matching it to the existing, and then dropping the ridge height and creating two double hung windows aligning with the existing kind of squished double hungs down here. And then lastly, just the rear elevation, simply raising that gable up, matching the played down rake details of the original, not trying to overdo the rake and gable returns more than what's needed, matching the existing trim details, clapboard siding. Yeah, so that's essentially the proposal. So I'm happy to answer any questions.
Great summary. Justin, do you have any feedback or questions?
I don't. It looks like an appropriate proposal to me.
Eric?
I don't think so either. Just, again, maybe I just couldn't find it, but just checking what the window spec was. I don't see it on the cover sheet on this.
Yeah, this time it's on the no, for no particular reason, it's on the
on A 1.3 or 2.1, sorry, 2.1.
Yes, 2.1, the previous elevation in a slightly different format, but we have every single proposed window noted, simulated divided light Marvin wood ultimate with wood exterior.
Thank you. You kept me on my toes because the last one I looked to cover and now this one's back there.
Yes, we like to mix it up a little bit to keep things confusing. Sorry about that.
Anything else, Eric?
No.
Catherine?
I don't really have anything, just that, keeping the ridge line down on the rear addition as low as practical is appreciated, because it is a big change. It's a long span to the back of the house. It's a big change from the going down Main Street. You can see quite a bit of it. So just keeping it as low as possible is ideal.
Carol?
Could we focus in on the side door? We have in the past tried to make sure that the front door remains dominant in the house and most formal. And then any side doors, we try to avoid pillars.
I think this one is super tucked back. I'm not sure you're going to see it from the road at all.
Yeah, I don't know. I'd like to go look at it in my car and see if that's going to show it all. Do you think it does?
Actually, let me share my screen because I was just looking at a Google, and maybe you have a Google Street
Google Map is
too.
all very green and lush and hard to see it in the winter.
So here's the side that will be a little more visible, and then just going to the opposite. I just want to show you that. So approaching the house from that side,
yeah,
you really can't see that courtyard.
Can your neighbors up on the hill see down into that? You can't see anything. It's all covered in greenery.
They may get a glimpse of it, but it's pretty well tucked back there.
Yeah,
So
we're supposed to ignore the greenery and assume someday it all burns down and we get to see the whole side of the house, but it's so far back, I'm not sure we'd see it anyway.
It's 18 feet off that face.
Uh-huh. Well, then never mind.
But if they were both visible, I completely understand the concern there. But since it's pretty well hidden, I think we were just looking for functionality there with the columns.
Yeah.
We have gone through some different options here, something more longer, something with infill, and we decided on maybe just a simple portico would be the.
Yeah, and it's just the two, you can't really see, the two columns, right?
Yes, just two columns.
Simple Tuscan or something, yeah.
Catherine, Carol, Justin, did I get everybody here? Yeah, so Josh or Marianne, do you have anything you want to add?
I had the same concern that Carol had about the side entrance being fancier than the front door. But I think the existing entrance is kind of charming. But I understand that it's not going to be super visible. So I'm fine with that.
Anything from Marianne?
Nothing for Mary Ann.
Oh, look at that. You doubled.
One more question. Would it be possible to do like a shed roof on the side entrance instead of a pediment?
I was going to suggest the same thing, just in case that huge shrub at the corner of the house disappears and
We can definitely study that. I mean, sometimes with, as you know, with very small porches like this, to me, shed roof lends itself a little better to more linear porches in general. But that doesn't mean it's out of the question. I think that's something we can definitely take a look at. I just have to run it by Sarah and Reinhold to see how they feel about it.
Sarah has to weigh in. I don't even make any difference.
Yeah. I have to say though, I having been to the house, and being in the back courtyard there, it is virtually, you can't see anything. So that's just me, but you can't see it from the street.
I did preface what I said by saying that I'm fine with the pediment, but
Curious to look and see how. I'm just curious what angle. I'm just, bear with me. I'm just doing some
sleuthing.
I'm doing some math. I was just curious what the angle is to actually see that, given how far it's set back beyond just.
Would you see it from Alexandria Way?
So I'm curious. I'm just looking real quick. More curious.
No, not really. I think also is Alexandria Way private way?
There's plenty of hedges and trees in between, so it's very tough to see.
Yeah, it's very.
Yeah, to see it from the street, to get the angle, you're going to be.
You almost have to be peeking behind the tree.
Well, that you're gonna be, by that point, you're gonna have to be so far to the left, it's gonna be about 20 feet to the left of the corner of the house. And so you're gonna be
in the yard of the neighbor.
Roughly 75 feet away from it. So I don't know how tiny that roof would look with a pediment versus not 75 feet away. I was just curious how far away it would be.
Plus, there's plenty of vegetation, hedges. You can't see anything.
So, okay. I think that's really the only comment that we had. Any public comment? Okay. If any commission member wishes to make a vote.
I can do it. I'd like to make a motion for a certificate of appropriateness for 183 Main Street in the Bachelor Row Pear Tree Hill Historic District for proposed exterior work, including second floor renovation to the rear west wing of the house to increase the overall roof height of that wing and add new windows, a side entrance portico to replace the existing entrance enclosure towards the back of the house, which is not visible from the street. Dated 2/28/24.
Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Any discussion? Catherine, how do you vote?
Aye.
Carol?
Aye.
Josh? No, sorry, not Josh. Justin?
Aye.
Eric?
Aye.
It's an aye for me, so. Have fun, tell Sarah that you didn't get approved, and see what happens.
I will do this, yeah. She might fly back tomorrow, I know. She might fly
Oh,
back.
is she coming back tomorrow?
No, I'm just kidding. She's back
Oh.
she's back on Monday night. If I tell her no, she will jump back. She's back Monday night.
Well, it's good she's coming back.
That's right. That's right. Thank you all.
Oh, thank you.
Bye, Andrew. Bye. Bye.
Good night.
Good night. We'll wait.
Nice job, John.
Bye, Justin.
Tick over 1 more minute.
Really?
Yeah, it's 8:59.
Oh my gosh. Aren't we just good?
Wow.
Yeah, I'll say.
Wait, isn't it dated, isn't it timed 8:30 for the last one?
We're on the 9 o'clock one.
Oh.
Right,
Oh,
the agenda was a little off.
I see.
The handed out.
Oh, yeah, we changed the agenda, I think after that must have been it. I stuffed all the envelopes and then we changed the agenda. So to add this last one or the one.
Yeah, I wanted, when I heard that Teriyaki was going to come back, I said, just let's get him in back to back and we'll make it work.
That's good.
So 1020 Main Street, located in Liberty Plain Historic District, to demolish an existing home and construct a new home. This is a site that we visited on last Saturday. I believe Anton Sella is on. Who is the applicant.
Good evening, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Good.
Okay. So I don't, let me just pull up my notes here. So I don't believe we have an application. Proposed exterior work includes a second floor renovation to the rear west wing of the house to increase the overall roof. Am I reading the right one? Did I get off? Yes, I did. Sorry, I'm reading the last one. Sorry. 1020. Yes. So I think all we have is the application. I don't think we have any other documents. Is that correct, Andrea?
Yes, we just have the application and some elevations, and we have site information showing the existing and proposed. And we have photographs of the existing building. What we don't have is a report from a structural engineer. And Mr. Sella, I did explain to you that we really can't talk about demolition until we have that report in our hands. And so, and before we can even talk about a new house, we really need to settle the idea of a demolition.
Well, I did get a structural engineer and he has not sent the report yet. But I will have that for the next meeting for sure. But you also saw the condition of the house. It's in very poor condition. It's a lot of rot, a lot of mold. So that's where I'm going, what I'm going with to demo that house.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, we certainly made a site visit, saw the existing condition. You know, there's certainly prolonged water infiltration problems leading to mold. There's certainly some broken windows and things like that. I don't want to get into tonight, knowing that there is a pending structural engineer's report coming into diving down that. I'd rather get an opportunity to receive that report and review it and understand it before our commission expresses opinions on the merits of demolishing this space. So, so that I would rather wait. Additionally, certainly it doesn't make sense and seems putting the cart before the horse if we weigh into the elevations and the drawings for potentially what's new. We really should, because correct me if I'm wrong, Andrew, but shouldn't it be two applications, an application for demolition and then an application for the new construction, or can they be married?
Well, yes, we do have, that was the other thing, Mr. Sella, there is an application for demolition that needs to be filled out. We do, it has a series of questions, and an application form. So I'll just send that to you again.
So I think what I'd like to do is, because our application is for the new and it's kind of muddled, we should probably clean this up. We're waiting on the structural engineer's report to jump into talking about the demolition. Technically, our application is a little muddy at this point. What I'd like to do is deny this application without prejudice. So it's to take this application out so that we can clean up our applications and our paperwork. And we're going to be, we'd be continuing this anyway because we don't have that structural engineer's report. So rather than continue this, get into additional potential extensions, I'd rather do this without prejudice. It just means, or you can withdraw it, either one. And then we can get these applications cleaned up and get the documents cleaned up, and then we can pick this up fresh, new at our next meeting. Is that one of those two options acceptable to you, Mr. Sella?
Well, of course that is, yes. Is there a way we can talk about the elevations of the new house in case there is any other comments or not?
We really should go step by step. I don't want to put the cart before the horse. So what we can do is, if we get our applications in, we can put, we'll put them both on the next agenda item as two applications. We'll talk about the demolition one first, and then after that, we can then talk about it and give you feedback on the other ones afterwards, if that's okay.
Okay, yeah, that's fine.
Mr. Chairman,
yes.
Can I ask Eric, when you went through the application for the new building, do you see anything that's missing that we need?
Yeah, I can send a list, Andrea, for like.
Okay, that's fine then, so that Mr. Sella doesn't waste any more time.
Yeah, that'd be great. Thank you for going through that.
Thanks for doing that, Eric.
Yep.
So it's up to you. We can either deny without prejudice, or if you want to just withdraw the application, we can do it that way.
Either one, whichever speeds up the process a little, but.
If you want to withdraw it, you'll have to come in and sign a document.
Or we can just do a motion tonight and then it's without prejudice and you can just fill out new forms Andrea is sending you.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect.
Easy
Yep.
peasy.
Easier than that.
So anybody here know how to do that language?
I do.
All right, Catherine, thank
I
you.
can do it. I'd like to make a motion to deny without prejudice the application for a certificate of appropriateness for 1020 Main Street, located in the Liberty Plain Local Historic District, to demolish the existing home and construct a new home. Did I get that right?
Yes.
That's the right way to say that. So that is a motion made. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
All right, Justin is seconded. Is there any discussion? Okay, Justin, how do you vote?
Aye.
Eric?
Aye.
Carol?
Aye.
Catherine?
Aye.
An aye for me. So this is, just to clarify, this is without prejudice. A new application can be submitted. There's no wait period. There's no other strings attached. So we'll get this cleaned up on a clerical side, and then Eric will send through Andrea to you, Mr. Sella, some additional items that would be helpful to include in the packet.
Great, thank you.
All right, so.
Thank you.
All right, our last agenda item for the night is meeting minutes. So I have the 2:15 meeting minutes. I have I'll share them. I have a slight revision to what was sent out. And that is our meeting minutes from February 15th, 2024. The one modification I have is that 151 Levitt Street, I didn't appoint Josh. It was just the four of us that was appointed.
Okay, all right, I'll make that change. I'll take that off.
And there's one more down in the body of the text regarding 151 Levitt Street. There's a reference to Lozelle Street, which I think is in error. Right there in front of us.
Oh,
there.
right, instead of Levitt.
Instead of Levitt.
Okay, I'll take care of that too.
Great.
I've got one more, which
well, hold on. Let me get this other one. There we go. Love it. Great.
Okay, so I'm taking out.
I'm gonna send this to you, Andrea, so we can just
okay.
as appointed. I'll email this to you.
Thanks very much.
Eric, any?
Yeah, on page 4, it says Commissioner Smozinski. That wasn't me. I think it was you, Josh. Just confirm. Page 4. Sorry, it's like the page 4 on the Word document.
Oh,
so
sorry.
Page, yeah. No.
This part. Oh.
That does. I did say that.
Yeah, that one.
All right, so we change it to Josh. Thank you for your careful examination of the minutes.
Yeah, we actually do read these, Andrea.
I know, but you know, I gotta tell you, I am so thrilled with Robin. I mean,
this is a nice,
stuff is really
nice set of minutes.
Yeah, she does a fabulous job.
I heard from her that she prefers to listen to our meetings than the other. She does historical commission too, and she says we're more interested.
We're more interested.
Oh, yeah. For sure.
Okay, so now we have a set of meeting minutes as presented. If there's anybody that'd like to make a motion.
I'll make that motion. I'd like to make a motion to approve the meeting minutes for February 15, 2024 as amended.
Is there a second?
Second.
Catherine is seconded. Any discussion? Josh, I don't know why I keep doing that. Eric, how do you vote?
Aye.
Justin, how do you vote?
Aye.
Carol?
Aye.
Catherine?
Aye.
And it is an aye for me. So Andrea, I will email those to you with those edits.
Okay. I just want to make one point with respect to our April meeting. Of course, we put that agenda together and voted on it way back at the start of the fiscal year. And so town meeting usually starts on a Monday, but it's starting, excuse me, on Wednesday night because there's the Jewish holiday. So we're working around that. And so it's very likely that it's not going to end in one night. So that's why I said we'll probably have to change from the Thursday. Now, the other complication is I will not be in town. I will not be anywhere that I can do the meeting on the 18th. So we'll have to talk about that.
Want to go the next week?
Then that takes it back to the 25th.
Yeah, no. Andrew, do you think we could do it without you one night?
Yeah, I guess so. That would be the first time in 20 years, my friend.
What?
Mess it up.
What if we mess it up? Couldn't we do it on the 23rd that same week, but on the Tuesday?
Yeah, we could do it on a Tuesday.
That's fine by me. If you want to do Tuesday.
Sure.
Eric, are you sure to take the training wheels off and go without Andrea?
I don't think I can handle it. I need her to hold my hand, so I'm intimidated.
We're never gonna let her retire.
As long as we have Robin. Is Robin
Not allowed.
Okay,
Are we set on that? Are we agreeing?
23rd.
The 23rd? Yes.
Andrew,
I mean, it's-
I was saying the 18th on the meeting tonight, so if you could just make sure.
Yeah, I'll get back to those folks.
Yeah.
Did
Okay,
anyone
thank
do
you.
any of the environmental lecture things yet that happened? The new materials lectures from the
National Park Service?
Yes, thank you. Has anyone done that?
I did it.
Mary Ann did it.
Did it.
And
It's interesting.
yeah,
Useful?
Yeah, yeah,
Applicable?
yeah. I went and got the backup documentation, the, I guess, proposed regulations, et cetera. It was interesting.
I can send those out.
I'm signed up for April.
Good. All right. Yeah, if you haven't seen it, I really recommend it. So, and they fixed it so that you can actually join the meeting. I had no problem. I don't know why. It wasn't easy, but I could do it. So,
All right. That's
all
all I
right.
got tonight.
All right, I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Discussion, all right. Justin, how do you vote?
Aye.
Carol, Catherine,
Aye.
Josh, aye. Motion adjourned. So. see everybody
Eric, you
on-
forgot Eric.
Oh, Eric. I think
I said it regardless.
yeah, he's in there. See everybody on the 23rd.
All right, bye-bye.